morning and welcome to our Friday show on the mark with Inside News. Thank you very much for joining us. Myself and Shaheel, as normal, we're going to go through this card as best as we can. Hopefully we're going to find you a couple of winners. Let's start off with race 1, 1500 meters, 0.20, and we all know how difficult these 0.20s are. Always hard to find winners. You just have to have a look back at the last couple of meetings. I think a lot of people have been going out of their pick 8 in the first race. So once again, looking at this race, if you can afford it, try and put as many horses as you possibly can. Let's start off with the horses that I personally fancy. The first one is probably Vintage Angel. And he's drawn 1 this time. He's also been hanging in badly, so obviously the 1 draw is going to be in his favour. He's only got 56.5. Like I said, he's finally got a draw, and he sort of holds the form on quite a few horses here. If you go back to, I think it was the Silver Rock run, where Blazing Heart, He's Got Gears, League of Legends, Blunderbuss, they were all in this race. He finished in front of all of them, and there's no reason why he shouldn't finish in front of them again. Last time, I think we can ignore that run when he ran 7.5 lengths behind Art Tax. He was way out of his ground. He was hanging in badly. I just feel that the 1 draw is going to be in his favour this time, and I do think that Vintage Angel, well, I don't think, I know he's going to be my first choice. Sir Capers, well, unfortunately about the draw, but he does come from off the pace. There was a good run last time when he ran second to Art Tax. He's also run behind Mumbo as well. And like I said, he is drawn 10, but I don't think that's too much of a worry for him. He does come from off the pace. I think also that the fact that he's done well over 1500. In fact, have a look at his last run in 1500. He ran a very good third to that horse Mumbo. So Sir Capers, he must have a chance as well. And my third choice will probably go to Blazing Heart. He ran second to Starsky last time. Obviously a little bit of a worry. Blazing Heart coming down from a 1850 down to a 1500, but it's not a strong race, and anything is possible in the 0.20s. And I just want to mention one other horse before I cross over to Shaheel, is He's Got Gears. He's drawn 2 this time, and he quite possibly might want to lead in this race. And we've all seen these horses 0.20s. If you get out to the front and you open up a little bit of a lead, you could possibly just stay there. Have a look at his last draws, 10, 7, 9, 10. He finally gets a good draw. He's drawn 2. And I think that he's a horse that you probably would definitely have to add into your pick 8. Shaheel, not an easy race to kick the day off with. What do you like in the first?
Actually, I like number 3, Sir Capers. Obviously going to have to overcome the draw. I'm a bit surprised that Shaheel Ayadassen doesn't retain the ride from last time. Even last time he had to overcome some traffic problems. He was a bit retained at the 300 when Jamia had to switch him out, but he finished off really strongly to take second behind Art Tax. Listen, draw 11, definitely he'll need some luck from there. But like you said, he's going to come from off the pace. So I think he's the best horse in the race because it's only his second run in 0.20. On ability, I do think Sir Capers is the best horse in the race. Like you mentioned, Vintage Angels finally cracks a good draw. He's got a featherweight. If he doesn't hanging like he did against Silver Rock, if he goes straight this time, he probably is going to have the first run on Sir Capers. And then 1 horse, Blazing Heart, showed very good promise last time. I don't see any front runners. You mentioned He's Got Gears, but Blazing Heart does have some speed too. If he uses that speed and go to the front, I do believe he could take a lot of catching this horse.
All right, you mentioned Ayadassen. I see he's riding takeoff mode. He worked quite well on Tuesday morning, did takeoff mode. Maybe that's the reason why Shaheel Ayadassen elected to ride takeoff mode. He did put up some very good work on Tuesday morning. End of the day, it's a tough race. I'm going to stick with Vintage Angel to beat Sir Capers and Blazing Heart.
I'm going to go the other way around. Sir Capers, Vintage Angel and Blazing Heart.
All right, great. Right, let's move over to race 2. It's a 1850 benchmark 36. And I do believe that this horse, Power Tower, is going to take a power of beating. I like that penultimate run when he ran second to Mind Blowing. That was a 1850. Last time in a 1650, he ran second to another top horse, Mr. Hardy. He's drawn to Diego de Gouveia, his first ride in Mauritius. If I remember correctly, there's quite a lot of jockeys that have come here. First ride, first win in the second race. So, look, he's got a very good chance on this horse, Power Tower. My only worry about Power Tower is he's drawn 2. The horse drawn 1, Iron Wolf, will probably lead if this horse gets stuck on the fence, or not stuck on the fence, but you know, I mean, have a look at 8 Cities, Derek David drawn 3. He's not going to give him any sort of room. No. So that's my only worry about Power Tower. He's a bit of a long striding horse, a bit of a one pacer. He's going to have to get out early, and I'm sure then the Rameshwar team will sort of give him the correct instructions. But Power Tower, he's going to have to try and get off that fence quite early, especially if Iron Wolf is stopping in front of him to get going. But yeah, it's improved with the blinkers as well. Let's have a look last time. Very good second to Mr. Hardy. I'm glad the blinkers are back on. He's got the draw. Remember, this horse has been working with horses like Nubula and Solar Star leading up to the maiden. Yeah, yeah. And look, they didn't run great races, but they are much better horses than this lot. Yeah. All right. One horse I'd also like to mention is Midnight Oracle. If he's only had the one run over 1850 this year, and that was a terrific run to Uncle JB. If he reproduces that sort of form, he must have a big chance. If I'm not mistaken, I think he finished Power Tower was behind him on that particular day, but I think Power Tower has improved a little bit, especially with those blinkers. And Midnight Oracle, a little bit of a outsider there in the second race. And my third choice is Uncle JB, because Uncle JB has beaten Power Tower and Midnight Oracle. The thing about what I like about Uncle JB is the fact that all 3 of his wins in Mauritius have been over 1850. He's going to be drawn 8. He comes from off the pace. He's only 1.5 kilograms worse off with his horses that he has beaten. So Uncle JB, he must be considered in quite a tough race as well. But I reckon that Power Tower, he's on form, is the right horse. I just hope that things go well for him in the race. Like I said, he's going to have to get off that fence quite early.
Yeah, that's right. Like you mentioned, his 2 last run has been really promising. Last time he had to overcome that barrier 9, and it was the blinkers first time. He still managed to run a great race. Like you mentioned, his work has been superb leading up to this race. If Diego doesn't get stuck on the fence, he probably will be in a one-off position, and he will be able to take the first run on all of them. And this horse has won over 2,000 meters, so if he starts to move from the 600 and take the first run on them, that should be it for Power Tower. I think it's going to be a very tough nut to crack. For second, I like the Naring duo, actually. Uncle JB, like you mentioned, he's better over 1850. Last time he was slow to begin, but he finished off really strongly to take third behind Blue in the Box. 1850 is going to definitely be in his alley. He's got place credentials. And then Overdose is a horse that I really like, actually. Yes, he's got barrier 10, but he did have barrier 10 also on the 1st of June, I think, when he ran second to 1 length to Cyber Special, which is no small horse. He's a horse that does really well. Last time that was in a much stronger field against Mind Blowing. On the 3 length of Mind Blowing, he's back into calmer waters in his own company. If Jano can get him to settle and get him into a permanent position, I'm sure he'll be running on at them at the end.
Yeah, Overdose, he's a 2-time winner, and both those wins have been over 1850 as well. So he's definitely loves the course and distance. Bit of a tough draw. He's drawn 9. Now that the emergency acceptor comes out. But when he won, and in fact both his starts, he sort of come from midfield. So he just need a little bit of luck to get in there. He definitely has to be included. What about Black Indy? There's been a lot of talk about this horse. Once again, a poor draw. But you know, he was quite well fancied when he got scratched, and then last time in a 1500, probably a little bit slow, but probably another horse that you would have to, well, you either take a choice, you bank a Power Tower, or you're going to have to load quite a lot of horses.
Yeah, I remember Black Indy was, I think, one of my 2 to follow when he ran that second to Flower Blue. Unfortunately, he never really confirmed that run, but now that he's up to 1850, he could be interesting. Another interesting horse would be number 1, Avail. He's down in class, he's back over 1850, so beware of him.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to bank a Power Tower, because that pick 8 is massive, and it's going to be expensive. So I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to bank a Power Tower. Hopefully he reproduces those last 2 runs behind Mind Blowing and Mr. Hardy, especially that 1850, that when he ran in that benchmark 41, when he got beat half a length by Mind Blowing on that particular run. If he reproduces that run, which I think he could. I mean, like I said, his work has been pretty good, working with some top stayers, and obviously Diego de Gouveia, his first ride, he's quite a decent rider. I saw him back in South Africa. He's quite a decent rider, so let's wish him all the best to kick off his first meeting. He has got some good rides.
He does.
So, yeah, he's got some good rides, so let's see how he goes. Right, let's move over to race 3. It's a 1500 meter benchmark 41, and once again Diego de Gouveia is in the hot seat. He's riding Captain Gone Wild. I think we can absolutely ignore that previous run of his. He pulled off the fence, or when I say pulled off the fence, he pulled off 3-4 wide, going down that back stretch, and he never had any sort of run. I think we can ignore that run completely. Listen, he's won over 1600 from the front when Pierre Strydom took him off to the front. I believe if they adopt the very similar tactics or the same tactics, he's got speed, this horse. He's drawn 6 now that Sunset Breeze is out. And I feel that if they bounce this horse, take him off to the front, I think he could be a little bit too good for them. Yes, he is up in class. He's going from a 36 up to a 41. But he's, like I said, I think he's a little bit better than his rating suggests. And once again, I think we can ignore that particular run last time. Right, the second horse I want to talk about is Memphis Mafia. Have a look at his last when it was in a benchmark 41. I think last week Tuesday he galloped with, or not last week Tuesday, the Tuesday before he galloped with Al Sheba. And that was a terrific gallop. He really put up a good gallop. This horse, he's probably not the most honest horse, but he has got the ability. If things go well, if they go quick enough here, he's going to be running on. Daryl Holler and Ricky Mangard, they're very, very... well, they need a winner quite badly. They haven't had a winner for quite a while. So maybe Memphis Mafia could pull this off for him. Like I said, I think he's got the ability. I think the race might suit him as well. His last win was in the benchmark 41. And I do think that Memphis Mafia is worth inclusions. And then obviously Vasco Street Tractor, 2 terrific runs in the 990. I think we can ignore that run in the 1400 when they put blinkers on. In my opinion, he was way too handy. I'd like to see him ride him the way they do in the 990. Give him a chance. He will be finishing quite strong in the source. He's only won the one race in South Africa. It was over 1250, but that was pretty early in his career. I don't think he's going to have a problem with the 1500. And I do believe that Vasco Street Tractor will be running a cracker race. So my trifecta for the third, I'm going Captain Gone Wild and Diego de Gouveia to win on his first 2 rides, to beat Memphis Mafia, Vasco Street Tractor.
I'll start by Vasco Street Tractor. I think it wasn't the best of ride by Imran Chisti last time. He lost his position quite early on in the race, and the horse did finishing off real strongly. I think last week we mentioned him on Joe de Galo and asked you that question about the transition from 990 to I think last week he was entered in the 1650. So now he's at 1500. I don't know how that transition will work out. He's still a young horse, but he's quite good, this Vasco Street Tractor, and I do believe he'll be in the top 4. Bonjour Baby is a horse that I mentioned this week. He's been working pretty well. We haven't seen him for 2 months. Raj has given him a good break, but he's now back and he's back to best. Great win last time when he came to grab Royal Resolution on the post. Again, barrier 9, John Ebaditius have to get him into a good position, and he will finish off Bonjour Baby. Captain Gone Wild, listen, like you said, he had a tough race last time. Then again, I'm asking you that question, does he have to lead? Because in my opinion, Hadarat is a very quick horse. We didn't mention him, he won last time. He's a very quick horse. Even in South Africa, he's won from the front. I do believe he's drawn on the inside of Captain Gone Wild, so what do you think is going to happen there?
I can't tell you what, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you.
No, but do you think number 10 has to lead?
No, I don't think he has to lead. I'd like to see him lead though, because he's still a very green horse, and I don't think he likes to be in the sort of thick of things. Both his wins out in front, he's had his ears pricked. I'd like to see him lead, but I don't think he has to lead. I think he
could do drawn 1, could have some pace, so it could be interesting. I hope Diego de Gouveia doesn't get caught very wide early on in the race. So let's see how that boils out. But then again, Captain Gone Wild, it is first time in a benchmark of 41. So a real test for this colt. So let's see how he goes.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's race 3. Let's move over to race 4. It's a 990. It's a benchmark 46. I personally can't see this horse getting beat by Rocket. I'm going to make him my banker of the afternoon. Have a look at his time last time, 55.65. It's not even half a second. Sorry, half a split second. Half a second from the course record, which was obviously made by Rule the Knight. That was a terrific time. The false rail was out 3.75 meters on that particular day. I think he's taken a little bit of time to sort of find his feet. He knows what it's all about now. Bye-bye Rocket. I do believe he's going to be a very, very hard horse to beat. Yes, Edge of the Sun has finished in front of him, and but I think that Bye-bye Rocket had excuses that day. He was still very green on that particular occasion, and I think this time Bye-bye Rocket will turn the tables on Edge of the Sun. And then my third choice, Rahib, loves the distance. He's done very well over the 990 in the beginning of the season. He really started off well with those 2 wins, and then a good second to Edge of the Sun. Since then, he's gone a little bit off the boil. He's finished behind Maximal and Bye-bye Rocket, but I reckon he's probably the 3rd best in this field. So Bye-bye Rocket, I'm going to make him my banker of the afternoon.
Same for me too. You know how much I love this horse. Won well despite being green last time out. He handles the bend much more easier now. I see him for 2 weeks at track work. Manuel Nunes didn't have to give him some smacks on the shoulders. He looks to be maturing. He's improving with each and every race. I'll say it again. He's a superstar in the making, this horse. He's my banker too. I don't think he's going to be beaten. Biggest danger probably Edge of the Sun. Lost his race at the start last time when he was slow to begin. If he jumps well tomorrow, I think he's the biggest danger to Bye Bye Rocket. And then there's this horse, number 8, Mark Tapley. I think you did mention him 2 weeks ago. He's put up some decent work, so probably could be included in the traffic tower quartets.
Okay, all right, there we go. That's the 4th race. It's a 990. Probably the best bet on the card. When I say the best bet, probably the banker on the card. Right, race number 5, 1400 meter benchmark 56. And finally, this horse gets a decent draw, Virtue. He's been drawn quite badly in his last 2 starts. I think last time he looked like he was a winner. I think a lot of us were sort of surprised when Manuel Nunes got Mutsi up on the line. It was a terrific ride by Manuel Nunes on that particular occasion. Obviously, this time Virtue will be 2 kilograms better off, although I don't think Mutsi is his danger this time. I think with the draw, the 3 draw, he's going to be a lot closer, this horse, Virtue. In fact, when you have a look, he has beaten Wall Tag. He jumped from draw 9, went off to the front, excuse me, and then since then he's sort of he's changed his racing pattern. I don't believe he has to be in front, but he's going to be a lot closer than what he has been. And the fact that he's won from the front, I don't think it's going to be a problem if he's too handy. In fact, it might even be in his favor. So Virtue, not many horses has beaten Wall Tag this season. He's one of them. In fact, I think he's the only one, to be honest with you. He is the only horse that's beaten Wall Tag, Virtue. I believe that Cedric Sejon's going to pull it off in the 5th race. The dangers will obviously come from number 1, Lekera. That was an unbelievable run last time. I was very, very impressed from that 9 draw when he went off to the front. He had a tough race out there in front. And remember, it was that blanket finish. I think 5 or 6 finished across the track. This horse only got beat half a length by Uzo. It was a terrific run. This time he's drawn 1 compared to that 9 draw. He's a big, big danger here, Lekeria. And like I said, that last that last run really impressed me in that 1500. It's 100 meters shorter. If he goes off to the front, he could prove hard to catch as well. And then obviously Mutsi, you got to respect him. He's a type of horse. I've always told you this was Mutsi. He's got the class, and it's whether or not he puts it in on the day. He's a 7-year-old now, and whether or not he's going to run the same sort of race as he did last time remains to be seen. But I do believe that Mutsi has got ability. It's just whether or not he arrives on the racetrack on that afternoon.
I actually really like number 1, Dicario, like you mentioned. It was a terrific race last time out. I think the blinkers really helped him. He's quick, this horse, and he's even quicker with the blinkers now that he's drawn 1 compared to the barrier 9 of last time. I think he's going to lead this time. I think he's quicker than Virtue. Virtue is going to have the box seat just right behind him. He's going to have to come and grab him, but Dicario can go again in the final stretch. I'll make it a match race between the 1 and the 5. And then the referee, probably number 3, Hastien. He's been disappointing his last 2 starts. He looks to be better at track work. He goes to benchmark 56 for the first time. Diego de Gouveia on board. So let's see how he runs. But I do believe it's a match race between 1 and 5.
Yeah, 1 and 5. I agree with Shaheel on those. I'm going to go the other way around, 5 and 1. But I am very worried about Lekera because that last run was a terrific race, especially with those blinkers first time out. Right, let's move over to our 6th, the feature race of the afternoon, the Apex Group 15th Anniversary Trophy. Once again, a 990. It's a benchmark 66, and on paper, like I think I mentioned it on Wednesday, it looks like it's going to be, well, it looked like it was going to be a 2-horse race when you looked at the nominations. Unfortunately, Barrack Street has been drawn 6 out of 6. I don't think it's too much of a concern, but I would have liked him to be drawn on the inside of Henry Tudor. Could have just sat there in the box. Randall Simons has declared a kilo over with Henry Tudor. So therefore, he's going to be, I think it's 3.5 kilograms, or even close to 4 kilograms. Remember, when a jockey is riding 54, he doesn't ride 54 on the dot. It's going to be sort of 54.3, 54.4. So, you know, that just brings him a lot closer to, let's just say he rides him just over 54. Barrack Street 55.5. Remember, last time there was 5 kilos swing in the weights. So they're going to be very close in the weights this time. I do believe that Barrack Street can pull this off. He's a top horse. I think he's a little bit better than his last run. He never had an easy race. He never had cover. He was 1 off the whole way. The only problem is to me, the only thorn in the side of Barrack Street is obviously number 5, Step to Fame, because he's got a bit of speed. And will he sort of maintain that second place on the rail behind Henry Tudor? Because I think it's no secret that Henry Tudor is going to probably go out and lead here. Yeah. And it all depends what Step to Fame, if he's got enough speed to sort of keep Barrack Street one off. He's not going to have cover again, so it's going to be a very similar race to last time, except that this time Barrack Street is going to be a lot better off in the weights this time. So that's why I'm going to lean towards Barrack Street. I'm hoping that he gets right up behind Henry Tudor. I do believe that in the straight, he's not going to let him get away this time, and he might just pull him in. Obviously, Henry Tudor, he's the second best in my opinion. And the third choice is Ernie. He's the champion sprinter of last season. He's going to love the speed early on. He's drawn 3. Cedric's probably going to be watching this from his point of view, and he's going to be watching them sort of go, and the quicker they go, the happier he's going to be. Ernie, like I said, previous champion sprinter, he's going to be running on quite strongly in the end, so I'm going to include him in my trifecta. I don't know how you feel about the race between 4, Barrack Street and Henry Tudor.
You know, I think Barrack Street, if he sits just right behind the 5 and the 6, he will be finishing off really strongly, because I was really impressed the way that he beat Max Amour. I think he was in 5 or 6 position, and I never thought he was going to make up all that run, but he did make that, and that was really impressive for me. So he does have that finishing touch about him. But even back in South Africa, I remember he used to race at Turffontein, and he used to take his time to get going, but once he got going, he does have that finishing touch about him. So I'm going to stick with Barrack Street as my first choice. Henry Tudor, like you said, he's no small horse either. Just look at his run to Waltag. He was on his 0.02. I remember that the judges wanted to call it a dead heat probably, but they managed to separate them. So Henry Tudor is a good horse too. It's going to boil down again to these two. But the weight, like you mentioned, will swing in favor of number 4, Barrack Street. So I'm going to stick with him to beat Henry Tudor. And then for third, probably this newcomer, Haler. We've mentioned him a lot. I think he barried 2 weeks in a row. He's a good horse, but the 990 could probably not be in his favor. He's won twice over 1400 and 3 times over the mile. All his run in South Africa has been with the blinkers. So this run could probably be bringing him on for the future.
Yeah, he looks like a nice horse, Halo, from the Simon Jones stable. I do believe that he's probably going to need his first outing over the 990. Henry Tudor as well. If you have a look, just talking about Henry Tudor, he was very... they were very confident of him winning last time. He was back from 11-1 into 13-2. And obviously, they must have thought that they got something right with Henry Tudor. So maybe they have sort of sorted out any sort of problems that he's...
Well, it's the blinkers, because I see that last time it was they put the blinkers back on, and he ran really well with it. So blinkers on again.
Yeah, that's quite surprising. The last time he had blinkers on, before his last win, he won, and they put the blinkers back on. So Henry Tudor obviously likes the blinkers as well, but I still believe that 3.5-4 kilogram swing is going to be in the favor of Barrack Street. Right, Diego de Gouveia is under a lot of pressure because we've tipped 3 of his horses, well, I have anyway. The 7th race, the 1500 meter benchmark 31, probably the second toughest race on the card as far as I'm concerned. The first race is tough, but this is a very, very tough race. I think you can make an argument for most of these runners. Well, I'm going to go with number 1, Aspara. There was I beg your pardon, number 2, Aspara. Drawn 5. This is probably a comeback to form run last time, because you know he really did well last season. He won 2, unfortunately he lost the 1 because of the suspension. Well, not the suspension, but the prohibited substance that was found, and he hasn't really found his way since then. But nice to see the way he ran on last time. That was a good finishing time, 35.42 over the last 600. And there's not many horses in the benchmark 31 that can do that. So Aspara, if he reproduces his sort of last run when he came from way off the field, he was drawn 10 on that particular occasion. He's drawn 5 now. I think that in this sort of class, 100 meters extra, I'm going to take Aspara. It's going to be a reluctant first choice because, like I said, it's quite a tough race. I've always liked the look of this number 1, Tigers Bond. Well, I liked everything about him except the way he was ridden last time. It went hopelessly too fast in that 3-year-old championship. He's run behind some good horses. Rule the Night, Viking Trail, Cyber Special, Good Buddy. These are all top horses. This is the first time that we will see him in a benchmark 31. He could possibly lead again. Obviously, we don't want him to go as fast as he did last time. He's drawn 3. He's got the blinkers on again. I think that Tiger's Bond is a little bit better than his merit rating of 31. And then my third choice, Volatile Energy. He's run some good races behind some decent horses. Consul of War, he's come out and won. Taranaki ran a good second last week. So Volatile Energy, he's got the form. I believe that he'll probably, it's going to be quite to see who's going to lead you between Volatile Energy and Tiger's Bond. But Volatile Energy, he might just be able to go all the way in the 7th race. King's Empire, we've been following him for a long time. He finally ran a decent race last time when he ran second to Paddington's Luck. He's going to be drawn 8th though, but he does come from off the pace. 7th race, tough race, and once again I've loaded quite a couple of horses here. I haven't even mentioned Till Dawn, even Phoenix Rising, who ran right there with Consul of War as well. In fact, he finished in front of Volatile Energy. So 7th race, tough race, you have to load here.
Yeah, actually I didn't notice Tiger's Bond lead last time out, so I've made Volatile Energy my value bet of the day on the basis that he's going to be the front runner in the race. Then again, it was 52 kgs, this time it's 60 kgs for Tiger's Bond. So if Volatile Energy gets to the front, he's a tough horse to get past. And at 5 to 1, I think is a decent value, but Kevin Ganoa on board, we know he's a good judge of pace. Remember, he won the maiden with Vettel, and last week he won with a decent outsider, Cool Water. So why not again this week, Volatile Energy? And then, like you mentioned, Aspera, his last 3 runs has been come back to form runs, has been promising. He's been working pretty well, Aspera under Nouresh Jaglal. Nouresh has deferred his suspension. I think he's riding this week and then he's suspended next week, so we got to keep an eye on Nouresh too. And then Till Dawn, he's a horse that I really like, unfortunately drawn wide. Randall Simons has been riding well for his first meeting. If he can overcome the draw and get him into a decent position, Till Dawn will definitely be running on at the end.
Yep. At the end of the day, it looks tough. It looks like a minefield, the 7th race. If you are still running after this race, I'm sure you would have added a couple horses, but you'll definitely have a chance if you're still running after that particular race. Right, the 8th and final race, the Lucky Last, 1650, rating 0.25. And here's my value bet. I've been following this horse for a long time. I can't understand why. It's taken him 2 months to come back to the track. Give me a swinger. Have a look at his last run last time. He got left badly. He couldn't get a run up the straight. He got beat a length by Paddington's Luck. It was a terrific run. And like I said, I'm a little bit sort of worried that he hasn't run for 2 months. You know, Jean-Michel's not shy to run them. Yeah. And I would imagine that maybe he had a little bit of a problem. Otherwise, I can't see any other reason why he hasn't run for a while. But his work has been very good. They slapped the blinkers on him for the first time, and he has barrier trialed with those blinkers as well. And I was pretty happy with that. But give me a swinger. I just asked myself the question: if Paddington's Luck was in the 8th race, he'd be a penalty kick, as far as I'm concerned. This horse should have finished a lot closer than 1.2 lengths behind Paddington's Luck last time, and I do think that he's going to be my. When I say my value bet, when I open, you know, Thursday is always hard to sort of Thursday is always hard to decide if it's the right price on a horse, because the betting changes so quickly. I haven't seen the price this morning, but yesterday they suggested he was at 650. Whether or not he's still that, I'm not particularly sure. But give me a swinger. I'm quite confident that he's going to pull off the last. Yes, Chester's Wish did finish in front of him on that particular day, on the 13th of July. But I do believe that Gimme Swinger should have finished a lot closer. Do yourself a favor, if you have got the means, have a look at his last run, you'll see what I mean. Right, Chester's Wish, I'll put him as second choice because he always runs a cracker. The blinkers are back on. He always sort of runs, you know, he always gives of his best. This horse in a 0.25, Chester's Wish. He's a 4-time winner, 13 places. Like I said, always puts up a good performance. He ran in front of Gimme Swinger last time. I suppose he could run a good race here again. And then my third choice, I'm going to go with the Old Man Spin a Coin. Another horse that always puts in a good performance. He's been working well, the Old Man, and drawn 3, 0.25. He always runs a decent race, and he's run in the first 3 in his last 3 starts. There's no reason why he can't pull that off again. So he'll be my third choice. What do you think? Lucky Last? What do you think?
I'll join you for your value, but actually I've watched his race last time. If he didn't miss the break like he did, he would have finished a little bit more closer, like you said. Listen, I also don't know why he didn't run for 2 months now, but he does have a lot of work, like you said. The blinkers first on, hopefully that doesn't affect him. He's a young horse, we don't know how he's going to run with the blinkers. Hopefully it's a good thing for him. But yeah, I'm going to take a chance and go with him. His biggest danger probably is Starsky, because last time he ran a decent race from the front. In fact, he won. He drops 200 meters. He won on 1850. He's now in a 1650. Then again, Randall Simon's on board. If he can judge the pace correctly up front, Starsky could take some catching. And then for third, definitely the old man. He's been showing a lot of promise these days. Some cracking rides. So let's see how Jean Battu goes with Spin a Coin.
Okay. All right, well, here we go. That's the 8th race. Give me a swing on my value bet if he still is at a value because, well, what is it? It's 10:30. We don't know what price he is now, but I know yesterday opening odds was 650. Whether or not that was the correct odds, I'm not sure. Right, let's go with our banker of the day. I think we're both agreeing on Bye-Bye Rocket.
Yeah.
And then my value bet will be in the last race. Give me a swinger. Your value bet?
Volatile Energy.
Okay, volatile engine. Well, there you go. Let's hope you have a great day's racing. Remember that pick 8's pool is massive, and if you can afford to take a little pick 8, a little percentage or whatever, try. I mean, I'd hate to see another rollover. It's getting, like I said on Wednesday, it's getting harder to catch the lottery than it is to catch the pick 8, and I wouldn't mind catching a little percentage myself. So, well, there we go. We've got an idea where myself and Shaheel are going tomorrow's racing. Let's hope you have a great day's racing. Remember, catch-ups on Wednesday when we got Jour de Gallo, where we will be talking about this race. Obviously, the build-up of the Princess Margaret, and that looks like it's going to be quite an exciting race as well. So we'll try and follow a couple of the runners that will be entered in the Princess Margaret next week. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye. See you next week. Bye.